Hey guys, welcome to another Trade Genius podcast. Bob and Phil here. Guys, America is getting pillaged by your favorite bankers. And not only are we getting pillaged, it's probably going to contribute to the recession and hopefully not a depression. But we got to get into these numbers because they're just totally nuts. So let's dive in.
Trade Genius.
Hey guys, really briefly before we jump into this video, appreciate all the likes and subscribes. And if you can ring that notification button, that really helps us out. In addition to that, if you guys don't mind, head over to tradegenius.co. Check out our specials we have over there. There's a number of different specials with different packages for all different experience types. If you're more into education, we have a package for that. If you just like to get into the room, primarily, we have a package for that as well, where you can see where we're calling out trades and things like that live and also posting signals into our Discord signal rooms. So check it out, tradegenius.co. Appreciate you doing that. Bob, the numbers, the debt that these banks are holding over Americans is staggering.
Oh my gosh, Phil. If you take the amount of interest income coming into the banks and the interest income that they're receiving from the Fed, which means from you and I, we're at $360 or $70 billion to the bankers.
Crazy.
Per year. Unsustainable.
Obscene.
It is obscene. And here's the numbers. You don't take our word for it. Our good friend Fred, he's probably taking a cut of the action too. The Fed is the central bank's research arm. We're rapidly coming up to $1 trillion in credit card debt. And the reasons are obvious. People just can't pay their bills and they have to tap the card. And now, between now and July, we're going to push up higher because people are drained out because of taxes, Phil.
Right.
So that's one end of it too. So you say, okay, oh, well, that's great, Bob. Well, how much are they paying? Well, here's the average interest rate.
24+%. That's insane.
It's insane. It's insane. $240 billion on average. Now, maybe the median might be a little bit lower, but still, that is absolutely insane. Look, I have over 800 FICO score, and I look at my credit card stuff, which we pay off every month. I'm at 18%, and I'm the best credit out there. They're insane. So I think you were going to show some things that you show some of these different levels, Phil. Do you want to throw that up there?
Yeah, we got some interesting data. Now that you see what the problem is, let's talk about how it affects you and actually what you can do about it. So this slide here is basically breaking down the credit score rating that you might have, okay? So if you're a super prime, which is 740 and above, then you should be getting 16 to 18%. And if you're not, you need to give your credit card company a call. And we're going to get to that part in a bit. But prime is 670 to 739, and that's going to run you about 20 to 22%. Subprime, which is under 670 down to 580, is going to run you 22 to 24%. And if you've just not been a very good boy or girl, then you're deep subprime below 580, and you're not going to get anything less than 24%. So most of you have probably got pretty decent credit scores. So if take a look at your credit card statement, it has your APR on there. If you are not where you should be, then you need to give them a call. We'll get into that slide here in a little bit.
Yeah, I want to bring something up too for people is that, I occasionally take credit out because you want to be in the super prime category. You don't get in super prime by not having any debt. You get in super prime by being their most profitable customer, meaning zero charge-offs, but you do generate some interest income for them. And so if they dangle 0% in front of me, I'll pay the VIG to get into that money and then keep it, use it for whatever purposes I want to, then pay it off. I routinely do that, $10,000 or $20,000. The other thing that you need to do is take all your credit cards that you have, add up the total limit, and make sure you stay under 30% usage.
Yep.
If you have good credit, but you have too much usage, get another credit card and don't use it.
Yep.
It'll actually raise your credit level.
Yep.
Okay. And these things mean something because Phil's going to show you what it means right now.
And I'll add something else to that too. Don't cancel your credit cards. Let the companies cancel them and you won't get dinged because that's one of the rules I don't like about our credit system. If you cancel a credit card, because I would think that would be a responsible thing. You're trying to eliminate the amount of debt you have. But that's not the way the rules work. Okay. So you don't cancel your credit card. Don't use it. Like cut up the card. Just don't use it. If over time the credit card company comes to you and says, hey, we're canceling your card because you're not using it, that's the way to go. They won't ding your credit. But if you cancel the card, that's actually going to take a hit on your credit score. But like Bob said, if you get credit card offers, that doesn't hurt your score. That's going to help your score. Because like he said, the more credit you have out there increases your usage percentage. And I didn't know that, but Bob made a great point with that. You want to have a low credit usage, and to help yourself do that, actually sign up for cards. Don't use them, just sign up for them and have them, cut them up afterwards. It doesn't matter, but that does help. So this next slide, this is just to kind of hit home the point on interest rates. And even a 5% interest rate, think, well, I don't have good credit, I can't get that lower interest rate, but it does help, and you should try to get it, because look at this, between 15% APR and a 20% APR, if you had a $7,500 credit card balance, okay, even though your monthly payment might be the same, the months to pay off, okay, is 78 months to 106, and you're going to pay another 4,000, like almost twice as much in total interest paid. So it makes even though it's 5%, it means 100% more in cost. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and every little extra you pay makes a difference, and so you did something interesting around your old mortgage that you had in your old house. I'm not going to put you on the spot to explain the detail, but it really essentially turned into is basically excess savings you plowed into the home, and you essentially took a 30-year mortgage and paid it off in seven years, unless I'm overestimating it for you.
No, they call it the Australian method. There's a book floating out there. It's not very popular. All it takes is discipline, and you need to make more than you actually have as far as expenses. So if you're making extra, you can pull it off, and it does require a HELOC on your house. But essentially what you're doing is, you use the HELOC against, it's kind of weird, but you use the HELOC against paying down the principal of your mortgage. And I kid you not, that 30-year got paid off in 7 years, but you got to be disciplined about it. And like I said, you have to be able to make more than your actual expenses. And of course, you can't live high on the hog, because you need to do that every month to accomplish that. But if you're disciplined for 7 years, yep, you can pay that down. And yeah, they call it the Australian method. And I'm sure you can Google it or ask ChatGPT about it, but it's pretty powerful. My wife figured it out. She was the brains behind it, and she kept us in line. And to her credit, yeah, we were able to pay that off in record time. I was amazed, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, just think about it, because everybody's instant gratification. And if you can put yourself in a situation where you can go beggar for 7 years, when you don't have a mortgage, you have all the freedom in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally all the freedom. In my personal way we spend, my mortgage and my housing related costs are 50% of my budget. That's not 50% of my income, above my budget. So you get the house paid off, you wouldn't know what to do with the money. And I'm being kind of flippant about it. You literally could spend $50 a day and live. And so it's really critical that you do that. And worst comes to worst, if you can't do that, get yourself on the other end of the principal payoff line. And if you refinance your home, like for me, I have a VA loan because I was in the Marine Corps, and I'm just waiting. And I have the cash to pay the house off, but when you have a really cheap mortgage, that's stupid if you can make more money than you're doing. But at some point, you just go ahead and you can just flip the switch on that thing and get it down. But if I refinance my house, which I have a free refi, is that I can actually write down my time period now. They have that now filled too. So instead of keep rolling into a 30-year where the amortization kills you, you can go from a 30-year and do a 23-year, or you can do a 17-year, depending on it. You keep your 30-year amortization. You lower your amortization, but your payments aren't like a 15-year mortgage. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So make sure if you ever do this stuff, when we get a chance here, I think in a year we'll probably get a chance to do some refis for people who are kind of stuck here in that 5, 6, 7% mortgage rate. We're going to drive down here. Those are the kind of things we want to help you with. And literally, we laugh because people always tell us, "Oh, I don't have enough money to trade." I'm like, "You don't?" I said, "Don't go to Starbucks for a month and you can start trading." Seriously.
It's true. It's true how much money we spend these days on frivolous things. Much more so than, think about when we were growing up, Bob, right? What was the household expenses? Telephone, electricity, maybe a lot of times it wasn't even a cable bill. We didn't have a lot of monthly expenses, and then grocery stores and the occasional dining out. We didn't dine out a lot when we were younger. It seems like we dine out all the time now.
One car.
And then now you have monthly fees for everything, $15 here, $20 here. Just the amount of money we spend these days in the households is crazy compared to what we used to. Back to the credit card situation. We realize some of you might be in a situation where you're in a credit card, you have a balance, and we wanted to just go over some quick points. Some of you may already know this, but here's a couple ideas that you can use and try to get your payments down. One is a balance transfer. You should, if your credit's not too bad, you should get every once in a while a 0 APR transfer. That means they'll take your credit card balance that you currently have from another card and put it on a 0 APR. What that does is it allows you to lower your monthly payment and not get dinged paying the minimum. Okay. Basically, they'll float that balance. So if you're in a skinny spot, that's great. Or if you want to try and pay it down, over the minimum that they're going to give you, that's going to help pay down that principal. So you might be paying, let's say you have a $300 minimum on one card. Well, if you go over to the 0 APR, the minimum might be only now like $100. But if you keep paying that $300, you're paying down the principal, right? So 0 APR balance transfers is an awesome, awesome thing. You should take advantage of that. The other thing is a consolidation loan. So you could go to your local bank, credit union, say, look, I've got $15,000 over 3 cards. I want to pay them off. The credit union is going to give you a way better rate than 24%. You're probably going to get a personal loan, maybe around 5%, Bob. Somewhere in there.
Well, now it's probably a little higher, but yeah, it's going to be 1/3 what the credit card companies are going to charge you.
Yeah, some banks do a really good job over prime, and Bob's right. Maybe it's 6% or more. But point is, it's going to be like 1/3 or more less than what you're paying now on that. So consolidation loans is a great way to go about that. And then the other one is just flat out ask. So if we go back to that other slide, and if the APR is not matching what you should be getting based on your credit score, then you should just go ahead and call them. And I would bet that because there's so much fluff built into those rates. I mean, so you think about it, they're based on prime, and prime is what, about 4 something percent?
Yeah,
and
almost 5.
So they're charging a 20% VIG basically. So they got room to help you out there. And it's their best interest to help you out as opposed to you going into financial difficulty and defaulting on the payments. So it's much easier for them just to knock off some percentage points to help you out. So that's a legit thing to do. And you'd be surprised at what they might come back with. So I just thought it would be nice to pass along some ideas that you can mull over and try to reduce some of your costs on your interest payments if you're in that boat.
Yeah. And look, if you don't own a house or you don't have any assets that they can easily get you in a judgment, you negotiate hard with them. Okay. Because, it's your life and your health. And, if they ding your credit, they ding your credit. I mean, look at Biden did, right? So it doesn't even matter if people's credits aren't perfect anymore. The governments are trying to figure out how to keep you in debt. And so if you don't have a home and you're renting and you have a credit card and it's getting to be overwhelming to you, you literally call them up and say, look, I think I may have a problem here and I need to negotiate better terms. And not a lower minimum, because that just keeps you in debt forever. I need you to do something for me. Okay. Don't tell me you're going to file for bankruptcy or anything like that. Just tell them you're into your wits here and you need help. And they'll do that. And if you have a home, then you definitely should negotiate with them saying, look, I have assets. I need your help. Then you go to your credit card company and your credit union and say, I have an asset. I could secure it against my home. I need help. And then you get a better deal too. The problem is what people do is they get this relief and then they don't push it down. So the key is when you get this kind of money, like Phil said, you got to pretend you didn't get the money. You just keep knocking down the debt. Remember, debt is the reason why you're not free. Okay. And if you're into freedom, you want to get out of debt as fast as you possibly can without obviously destroying your family. There's obviously we're not being dogmatic about this. So some debt is okay to carry, depending on what it does for you. And sometimes you're just stuck. And that's what that's for. And the other thing too, look, if you call yourself a patriot, you call yourself a MAGA, is that debt fuels the people on the other side of your political beliefs. So why pay them? Okay. And this is the reason why we're talking about this. This is outrageous what the banks do here. They set up a beautiful system. They're sucking you dry. And this is the reason why, Phil, we're not going to coming back into a bounce here on the economy, because these people are stuck for 8 years paying this stuff off. Do you read your statement? I mean, you could be paying this stuff off for 30 years. So, you will not be in the market to buy stuff because you're paying these clowns off. And if worse comes to worse, my dad double shifted his whole life. Okay. Hard work never hurt anybody. So, get another job, pay this stuff off. You'll be happy that you did. And you'll feel really good about yourself at the end.
Totally agree. Let us know your thoughts. Are you struggling with this stuff? Are you debt free? Love to hear about it. Post your comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow on Saturday's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Please hit like and subscribe. Smash that notification bell and set it to all if you can. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Trade Genius.